Morning world, welcome to Friday 16th of February, and we're starting our day with a fond memory. Let me go in there for a minute. Dog can't dance all over them in there. So, it's an anniversary when I lost one of my grandparents. A grandparent I was particularly fond of. In fact, we were all very fond of her. She's at rest with my grandfather over in Dursley Cemetery. Sadly, I never met him. He died when my mum was just 14. So all I've got is a couple of old photographs. I mean, if I met the bloke, I wouldn't have a clue who he was. Obviously, I'm not going to meet him because he's been gone for years. So every year, I take a little pilgrimage over to the grave, the cemetery, and have a little chat with her, bring her up to date with what's going on in the world and blah, blah, blah. And this time I'm going to be telling her that I'm bringing her daughter, my mother, to join them hopefully sometime in the next couple of months. So I made my mother a promise when she was alive, and I said, what do you want to do with your ashes? She goes, I'd like to go with my mum. That's what we're doing, and it's a promise I intend to keep. Probate has slowed us up. I wanted to get the headstone done and everything, so when we put mum in with Gran, the headstone's all done, but probate's just dragging on and on and on. So I spoke to the gravedigger, because you can't put ashes in a cemetery or dig any holes in a cemetery, although we are going to be digging holes in the cemetery, but that's completely different. Planting trees. For a burial, you have to have a registered or licensed or something guy to come and do it. So I've been in contact with him. We want to do it on a weekend if we can, so my sister and my nephews can come and join us. That seems to be all okay, so now we just got to work out a date. But anyway, so today is the anniversary of when we lost my nan. I'm going to go over and put flowers on her grave, have a little chat with her, call in and see my guys, because they're also working in Dursley, and then back here, and it'll be back on farm duties. So, yeah, there you go. So the whole world doesn't revolve around the farm. There are other things that go on outside it. Some things I share with you, some things I don't, but yeah. If you'd known my gran, you would all have loved her. She was just that type. I was going to drive up there, but Granny's there with her shopping basket, so the car can stay here. Well, the liquid amber we planted 5-6 years ago, he's looking all right. That'll be magnificent in a few years' time. Autumn colour. Here we go. Hello, Gran. Hello, Grandad. Okay. Flowers planted, kind of. Bit of news passed over. See you soon, folks. That turkey tails? Might be. While I'm at the cemetery, got a little bit of work to do as well. So this is a big weeping willow that got decimated in a storm a couple of years ago. We pollarded it, actually took one of the leaders from the top and planted a new tree, but the summer killed that. We might try it again this year, but I don't think there's any rush because this fella's recovered quite well. I mean, we did a pretty heavy pollard on it, take all the weight and strain and damage out of it. There was a lot of damage, but yeah, that's job number one. Job number two, we've got some trees to plant. don't know if you know this, but there's a few people quite famous in the world died in Dursley, including this one. And he had a phone call from Reg while I was over in Dursley, asked me what my opinion was of the bird problem we got over there. I informed him that I'd ordered 2 more bird scarers, but it does seem that the burden, especially by the black ones, and there are many different types of black ones, but it seems to be diminishing. It seems to be they're losing interest. So I'll still put my scarers together when they arrive, but whether we deploy them or not. Psst, Biscuit, come on. Exactly, go and mark my territory, Dad. It's a very important job. I see daughter's turned up and dumped her dogs with me again. Nice to know I have my uses. Good old Dad. Morning world, welcome to Saturday, February 17th. A few of you have asked me a question, so I'm going to go and find out the answer for you. Anyway, while we're wandering down to the pond to find the answer to that question, I had a visitor this morning, an old pal of mine from my biker days. He approached me a couple of weeks ago and said, could we possibly do a one-night camp out for the group? We're raising money for, it's got something to do with British Legion, so we used to do an awful lot of ride-outs with the group, and it was to raise money for ex-servicemen, British Legion, air ambulance, all sorts of charities. We just did a lot of sort of charity stuff, runs, and I basically said, yep, yeah, I think maybe a dozen people coming in, not many, and a couple with kids and families, and I said, yeah, no, that's okay, that you can come and stay, be free, we're not going to charge anything for it. Like, they're going to try and raise some money for British Legion. So as and when that happens, I mean, at least they're only staying one night, we will probably do a bit of video on that, and we'll speak to Rob, who's organising it, and I'll also put a link in the video that I make then. He'll give me a link, I hope, and if anybody else wants to put something towards British Legion sponsoring these folks that are doing it's a wild camp out. I don't know, I'm assuming those with kids will have a tent, but I think the idea is for some of them it's like sleep under the stars. It's just like in a bivvy bag or something and sleep outside, and it's literally just it's a fundraiser for British Legion or one of the associated charities with British Legion. So yeah, that's to come. Yeah, should be an interesting day, that one. A couple of roe deer in there just bolted out through the woodland. Yeah, that's something we're also going to have a bit of a discussion with soon. Ministry vets rang me yesterday and said basically they want to interview me about our recent TB breakdown, and it's literally I don't know if they're coming to the farm, wander around, and we're going to look at issues we might have with wildlife, transferring disease backwards and forwards, what I can do to prevent it. I think the vets are doing something very similar. They've offered me I think it's a government sponsored veterinary visit, and it's the same sort of thing. They'll come and look at how the farms run, how we manage stuff, what we do, disease prevention, all that kind of thing. I mean, the government are obviously trying to save some money on paying out compensation for farmers. Well, and farmers don't want them to be paying out either. We don't want to be losing our stock. So yeah, so I think the ministry are getting a bit involved with us here on advisory, and what they'll probably do is go, well, you'd have to like, raise your water tanks. Well, that's all right, but it's Dexter's, and we do have sheep here, so we can't have the water tanks too high. We don't feed outside. We don't use mineral blocks and that outside. Our fencing is pretty good. I mean, all this side of the farm That is kind of the minimum standard fence, is like that. Okay, it's not going to stop a badger going underneath it, and it won't stop a roe deer jumping over the top, because they would still go over that. But I mean, what do you do? What do you do? Anyway, that's not what we're down here for. We are down here to have a look, see if the froggies have been back and if they've left us anything. It's jolly wet down here. Oi, come here you two. No chasing deer. Come on. So, that looks like frog spawn over there actually. Here is the dew pond that we dug out, was it 3-4 years ago we dug this out? There is, if you're interested, there is a video going back, and if I can find it, I might even put a link up here that you can come back to and go, oh, that's how we dug the pond out. So it's basically a heart-shaped pond. It's a dew pond, so there's no live feed of stream or anything else. This is literally rainwater. That's all this runs on. So in the summer, it dries up. But this year, I'd say this is absolutely ideal for froggies, because we've got some pondweed. No, that's not spawn. Got some pondweed, but yeah, froggies. So not masses, not huge masses of frog spawn. And I think that is the only clump that I can see, unless there's anything hiding in there. How many of these are going to survive? Well, good question, because ducks might get in here and have a go at that. And last year we had a lot of newts in there, and of course newts' favourite meal is them. So it's quite likely if the newts come back, we won't get many frogs. So, because they'll be eaten. That's nature. Okay, so yes, there is frog spawn in the pond, and I didn't put it there. That came there au natural from whatever lives out here. So when we took the farm on, or took the golf course on this piece of land, this was a tip by the previous owner, so there's a lot of building rubble, mountains of subsoil and clay and rubbish, and there was already piles of rotten timber in here. Basically, with the tree company, we've added to that. The idea was to enhance this for wildlife. This is our little wildlife area. So we've added to piles of rotting timber. There's one pile here, another one over there, and that is for our invertebrates, amphibians, reptiles, all that sort of stuff. They're welcome here. So, and there's something about, because the dogs are really, really keen. Whatever it is, you're not supposed to be there. Come on, pick up. Come on. I don't encourage dogs in here. It's supposed to be a wildlife haven, not a playground for these guys. Come on, leave them alone. Right, that's that done. Back to the real job. Piece is shattered. That means I'm probably the best place. Down here in the barn, with no one to bend my ear for anything. So, oh, I don't know what it is about today, but I'm just said to Mrs. P, I said I'm going to go check the cattle, but I'm feeling properly fecal weeble today. That's our code for not feeling very brilliant. So I'm so hot. So came down and bedded all this lot out earlier, and by the time I'd done all that, and next door, I was flipping knackered. Well, that's not like me. So, have I got a little bit of a bug about me or something? I hope not, because I could kind of do without that. Anyway, just thought I'd come down and check, because we're going out for a couple of hours. Got to go and do a tip run in a minute, and then we're going up to Gloucester to see Martin in hospital, go see how he is. He's going to be in for a couple more days. So we've got some stuff to take up for him. So that's going to make today's video. There might not be much more after this, because obviously I'm not taking that into hospital to see Martin. I doubt he wants that shoved under his nose. So, what? Oh, have you? You brought your dogs down to poo on my garden again, have you? Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so pleased. Well, you can leave them at home, they can poo in your garden.
They do poo in my garden.
Right, we'll just go and check you into the barn, and then that's it. So if that is the end of today's video, and all you've got is a look at the pond and a bit of talk about a charity thing we're going to do here for British Legion and stuff like that, I'm sorry, that's going to be it for today. But basically, all the jobs here are done. So unless something drops a calf in the next couple of hours, hopefully, fingers crossed, there's not actually anything I have to do. Make sure you're all right out here. Everybody up out here? What are you doing down there? A bit in there. Oh, is it you, Grumpy? Let's have that out there. You are a miserable cow, ain't you? I don't want to touch him, her, anything. So she's properly moody, she is. So, oh, yep. There's another one down here getting buried. I'm trying to look round and you're getting in the way. Right. Moody cow with an awkward cow.